This segment brought to you by Etherington and Vuckets.
I think people might read science fiction for grounding, because the ground shifts under our feet all the time these days.
Welcome back. Listen Up is probing the spiritual frontiers of science fiction. And our next guest says science fiction is a place where our culture explores new religious ideas. Gabriel McKee is a writer and blogger and author of the book, The Gospel According to Science Fiction. Gabriel, welcome.
Hi, Lorna. It's great to be here. So,
science fiction is a place for new religious ideas. In what way?
Well, science fiction as a genre is really all about inquiry and speculation. It's all about trying to propose new solutions to old problems or point out problems that no one's really noticed yet. So when the genre started out, that was really all about science and technology, but as it developed, people started looking also into the soft sciences like sociology and psychology, and before long they were also looking into questions of theology and metaphysics.
Give us some of the examples, Gabriel, of those big issues that science fiction wrestles with.
Well, to borrow a phrase from Douglas Adams, life, the universe, and everything. It's got the whole universe as its canvas, so they can really explore any kind of issue they want. For instance, there's science fiction about the origins and ends of life, like 2001, about the nature of the mind and soul. That's something that comes up in pretty much anything about artificial intelligence. There's even some science fiction that explores what life might be like after death.
At one time, Gabriel, you considered yourself an atheist, but I understand that it was through reading science fiction that you concluded that God does exist. Tell me about that.
That's right. For a few years, I was basically a Richard Dawkins-style atheist. I thought that all religion was based on delusion. And when I started reading science fiction, and particularly the work of Philip K. Dick, who had some really intense religious experiences, I began to realize that maybe my understanding of the universe itself was a little bit too small, and because of that, my understanding of what the word God meant might be too small. There's a thing that a lot of science fiction fans look for when they're reading science fiction called the sense of wonder, which is basically the sudden realization that the universe is bigger than you ever thought or believed it could be. And for me, that sense of wonder kind of led me to realize that the type of rationalism I had been adhering to didn't really leave enough room for the incomprehensible or the numinous. And so I started looking a little more seriously at things like theology and mystical literature.
And you wrote in your introduction to the Gospel According to Science Fiction, and I'm going to quote you here, you said, "Time travel can lead us to a direct, concrete experience with Jesus." What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm talking about there really is a specific work of science fiction called Behold the Man by Michael Moorcock, which is about a man who really wants to get what Jesus was all about, so he builds a time machine. But I think what I was really talking about there is there's a bit of a sense among a lot of people that the Gospels aren't what we would necessarily expect from a history book these days. There's stuff that we would want to know that's left out. And I think a lot of people really would be interested to build a time machine and see it for themselves.
Let's conclude with your advice then, Gabriel. The world of fantasy helping explore the world of facts, of Christianity. How do you navigate those two worlds?
Well, I think stories are what give us meaning. We kind of understand everything through some kind of narrative. And if we can have stories about things that haven't happened or can't happen, I think that can help us to get a better grasp on the kind of fundamental meaning of things.
Gabriel McKee, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
When Listen Up returns, a science fiction writer who says God dropped by for a visit a number of times. That's next.